Yes, it's true. The Eagles blew the Justin Jefferson draft pick, no doubt about it. But it could be worse. You could be a Viking fan. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Dingbat here. So Justin Jefferson draft pick. We all know the Eagles blew it. We blew it. We should have drafted him, but we didn't. And you know what? It could be worse. You could be a Minnesota Viking fan. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like. More importantly, make sure you subscribe for daily Eagles content, NFL content. We will be streaming 2 games on Sunday, 1 game on Monday. You don't want to miss it. And if you've been subscribed for a while, just double check. Double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Now, I gotta say this, right? I'm gonna tell you right off the bat. For years and years and years, the Minnesota Vikings never bothered me. They never bothered me. I rooted for them when Randall went back, even though I was jealous to see that Randall Cunningham there. I wanted them to win a Super Bowl. I did. I had no problem with them. I had no problem with Minnesota pretty much ever. They never really bothered me until 2017. Until 2017 and the NFC Championship game. To see those Viking fans come to Philly, disrespect the city, disrespect Rocky, disrespect the art museum, doing Skol chants there. It was horrible. It was horrible, okay? And then, for them to get their ass kicked the way they got their ass kicked. And this is the part that bothers me. This is the part that always bothered me about the Vikings, okay? Is after the Eagles beat the crap out of them in the NFC Championship game, beat the crap out of them, Minnesota Viking fans were salty. They were mad. The Eagles did this, they did that. There's a problem. They hated us. We were the most horrible people in the world. Dude, we beat the crap out of your team. Okay, Casey Keenum stinks. Okay, and here's the thing. After that, of course, Minnesota Eagles is a little bit of a rival. I think there's a little bit of bad blood there. Maybe it's not so much 5-6 years later. It's died down a little bit. But I'm not a big Minnesota Viking fan after that, okay? I respect the rivalry. I respect their team. I respect some of the players like Dalvin Cook and, of course, Justin Jefferson. And speaking of Justin Jefferson, did you guys all check this out? Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson, quote, way more happy to be in Minnesota than Philly. Yeah, that's what he said. And here's my response to that. What do you think he's going to say? Of course he's got to say that. He's in Minnesota. What is he going to say? Oh, yeah, I would much rather have been with the Philadelphia Eagles than the Minnesota Vikings. You think he's going to say that? No, he's not going to say that. And he shouldn't. So I have no issues with that at all. But why are some Viking fans coming at me about it? Like rubbing it in, like, look what Justin Jefferson said. I get it. I get what he said. But he has to say that. But they're actually coming at me about it. What am I supposed to do? I don't care. That's what he's supposed to say. Okay? No matter how you look at it. Even though the Eagles blew the Justin Jefferson pick, I'd much rather be an Eagle fan than a Viking fan. Okay? The Eagles have stomped the Vikings' ass every time they've gone on their way to the Super Bowl. 2004, they beat the Vikings on Monday night. Then they come back in the playoffs with T.O.-less team, and they beat the Vikings. Fast forward to 2017 NFC Championship. Vikings. The Eagles have to beat the Vikings, and they do. And let me tell you, the Vikings were lucky to even be there. I mean, it was one of the most incredible plays in playoff history with Stephon Diggs catching that ball and running with no time. That was amazing. Couldn't happen. You could run that play 1,000 times. It would only happen once. So, the Eagles played Minnesota in that championship game in 2017, and they beat the crap out of them. Went to the Super Bowl in Minnesota and beat Minnesota and won the Super Bowl against Brady, the GOAT. So every time the Eagles have had to make that run, they step on the Minnesota Vikings. So why not go out there on Monday night and let's stomp the Minnesota Vikings again? let's do it. Yeah, they have Justin Jefferson. Great. But now we got 3 Batmans. We got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Quez Watkins. And I think I'm pretty happy with what we got. Obviously, would I like to take that pick back? Yeah, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? You'd have to be stupid to say no. But A.J. Brown's no slouch. A.J. Brown's really good. Devontae Smith, absolute stud. Although he had no catches last week, and I keep hearing it. You know what? Devontae Smith can play. Okay? And Devontae Smith is going to... I think Devontae Smith's going to have a big game. I'm feeling like Devontae Smith's going to go off because Devontae Smith is listening to what's happening, listening to what's going on. There's no question about it. Devontae Smith is going to go off. I think he's going to lead the team in receptions and receiving yards this game. Now, if he doesn't... I mean, it depends what he does. I mean, because Dallas Goedert could too. I think what you're going to see is basically... the Vikings are going to be trying to target A.J. Brown. They're going to be trying to stop A.J. Brown. They're going to be concerned about A.J. Brown. And I think that should open up stuff for Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Now, if they choose to play A.J. Brown one-on-one, I think A.J. Brown in man had out of his 10 catches, I think out of the 155 yards, I think 100 of those yards were versus man. So if they don't give A.J. Brown enough attention, he'll eat them up again. Okay? As much as we could say, well, you know what? Justin Jefferson could run amok on us. He's a stud, all that kind of stuff. If you're a Minnesota Viking fan, you got to be saying A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins. That's kind of scary out there. And then with Hurts' ability to break free and run, they're going to be scared. They're going to be running for their lives. I am really feeling good about this game. I really think the Eagles will win. I do think it's going to be close. And I think it's going to be a little more low scoring than people think. But I feel good about this game, man. I don't know about you guys. I feel great. I feel like the Eagles are sitting in a position where if they win this game Monday night, I think then the next week you got Washington. That's going to be an interesting game. I think Washington will be 1-1 going in that game. That game in some ways scares me more. Because you're at home, Monday night versus Minnesota, you come off a big win, and then boom, you're going to Washington, Carson Wentz, who's coming off a loss. And historically, at least over the last many years, it seems like we always split with Washington. It just always seems to be that way. So I actually am more concerned about that game. But if the Eagles beat Minnesota, go to 2-0, and then they beat Washington 3-0, they're gonna end up like 7-0, something like that. It's just gonna happen. I like where we're at. My biggest concern going into this game is Jonathan Gannon. I'm about done with him. Like if he goes out and does the same things that he did last week, doesn't fix anything, doesn't change anything, then after a whole season last year and what we saw in the first 2 games this year, especially with the pressure on him, especially of what everybody has been talking about all week, this is not a team. The Eagles are not a team that won last week and then all of a sudden everybody's saying, look how great the Eagles are, look how great the Eagles are. You would think in some ways this is almost like a loss. Every time I put on people talking on the radio, they're complaining about how bad the Eagles look, what the Eagles didn't do right, how they didn't do this, how they didn't do that. You would have thought they would have lost. So I don't think the Eagles are smelling themselves or feel good or overconfident. I think they got a lot to clean up and fix, and I think they're going to come out ready to go. And the fact that we're getting Minnesota as a home opener is a really good spot for the Philadelphia Eagles. No matter how you look at it, Minnesota, they really don't like us after the last few years. We don't really like them, and I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. I know that I have subscribers that are Viking fans. Respect you guys. I love you guys. You go root for your team, and I can respect that. But as far as everything that happened in 2017, dude, I thought that was horrible. Because I thought we should have gotten I thought we should have been like, hey guys, good game. You beat the crap out of us. You won. But we didn't get that. We got, oh, you guys cheated. They were literally saying we cheated. Like, what do we mean we cheated? We just destroyed you. That was all. So it is what it is, But the Eagles, every year they beat Minnesota, or they've gone to Super Bowl that I can remember. And I can't remember 1980 playoffs. Somebody maybe tell me, did they play Minnesota? And I think they did, actually. I actually think and I don't know this for sure, but I think the year they went to the Super Bowl with Vermeil, I think they had to beat Minnesota in the playoffs. So they beat Minnesota then, they beat them in 04, they beat them in 2017, and I say a good start is to beat the Minnesota Vikings. That's usually a pretty good sign for the Eagles. Now, we've lost to them the last few times, and I'm sick of losing to them. So it's a big game, big win, but Justin Jefferson, he's saying what he has to say. Us Eagles, we know the deal. If he really could have been in Philly, he would much rather have been. Why do I say that? Because why would you not want to be in the NFC East? It's the premier division in all of sports. In all of sports. Bigger city, bigger markets, and unbelievable historical rivalries. I mean, the Vikings, look, they got good rivals with the Bears and the Packers, but when the Vikings have never won a Super Bowl, they've never won. All they know is losing, and they'll know losing again come Monday night. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. So after this weekend's gone, and after the Eagles have played, I expect the division to look like this. Eagles 2-0. Giants 2-0. Washington 1-1. And the Dallas Cowboys 0-2. It's going to be great. Denzel Washington out.